Hello everyone, my name is Matt Scorpion, and welcome to the exemplar of how we are getting our mods reworked next season. So the Bungie 2 dev team have released a post pretty recently about how build crafting is going to change, and the TLDR, basically long story short, what they're aiming for is a consolidation of a majority theme of many of the changes. Let's see, the current pre-Lightfall mod system has been built piecemeal over the years and contains a lot of redundancies. The loadout systems empower Guardians to suit up for whatever tasks on the fly, up to 10 slots available of multiple loadouts, the single screen system allowing opportunities to play and create shared loadouts with the community more easily. So basically sounds like DIM is going to be useless. A mod customization screen, like the Guardian's appearance screen, that'll make setting up mods a little bit easier. Champion counters are being spread between artifact per subclass abilities and more. And updates to mods streamlining the process and bringing new and exciting build potential to Destiny 2. And touch up and tunes on every single mod, removing energy types from mods and armor, getting players more flexibility in their mod crafting, no more switching between energy types for specific mods, reducing the pressure on armor energy by retuning armor mod costs and changing artifact purchase to no longer require mod slots, removing to weapon type specific mods to damage type specific mods for increased flexibility in builds. So, how loadouts are going to work. Here is some quick problems. Quickly swap entire sets of gears with numerous trips to the vault without having to open a second screen, basically without needing DIM. Decrease time in between play sessions caused by needing to rebuild a loadout. Create ways to label loadouts for quick identification. So we see quickly here a visual of what we can have for that. No, unfortunately, Bungie was being smart and they gave us no real peeks into the future for weapons, so we see a bunch of stuff. But then, of course, we can see how loadouts will look. That can pick exact perks, stats in the middle, origin traits, among the like, as well as affinities and that sort of thing. Then you can see here the loadout with 3 loadouts created in the 6 slots they have unlocked. You will be unable to unlock 10 slots by progressing through the new Guardian rank system. Each loadout label has an assortment of colors and icons to choose from, including Crucible, Rage, Trials, Gambit, damage types, and more. So, of course, here we see there's a storm. Wait, that seems to be basic. Where is loadout rate? Okay. I guess there it is. So then, mods and mod customizations. Problems the team wanted to solve. Cut down on time managing mods. Remove limitations that created confusing experiences, breaking down barriers to make build crafting fun. Giving players more understandable ways to earn mods. Removing the need to wait for 801 to sell a specific mod you need. And retuning mods to give players a more form of expression while also tampering down the areas of power creep. So I believe an example they were going for this, like a solar well mod that we currently have basically gives you healing when consuming a solar well. I could see them instead granting restoration like with Solar 3.0 or something else like that. So they give us a brief change on how stuff is changing. So it's going to be a little bit more simple so we can see a lot of the stat boost mods are still going to be the same. Resilience is actually going to be supposedly a 4 energy, but a mass intellect mod is only going to be a 4. So it seems like they're going to cap out at a certain level, but at the same time still retune everything, but you can see it's a little bit more simple as it's just in one general screen. Our new mod customization screen is going to make creating your builds much easier, as you will be able to see all of your currently applied mods and how they affect your stats on screen. From here, you can quickly select different pieces of gear for tinkering. So we can see here, like we have the base stat boost mod, then we have the 2 various charge with light mods or the appliques, and then see how many stat buffs we get for anything. Ooh, is that a new artifact? Ooh. Did they just release a new artifact? Let's see. No, just kidding. But there's also a tab at the top of the screen. You can switch over to see perks and stats of your current weapons without having to switch back to character screen. So you can see basically a quick sneak peek of your weapons loadout as well. Now, talking about earning mods. Historically, mods have been unlocked in a variety of ways, but for most part, you're waiting for 801 to have to sell them. We want to remove this waiting game and make all mods have a clear unlock path. All mods will be unlocked by achieving Guardian rank 6. Most players who have spent some time in the game will start out at rank 6 and instantly have all mods ready to go out of the gate. New players will unlock mods as they climb through the ranks. Look out for more info on that. Now, application details. Mod energies are of course being removed, eliminating the need for 4 different versions of a given armor piece for good lord. Build crafting purposes. We're also converting the combat style socket into an alternate mod slot for that armor, for helmets, gauntlets, and etc. We're also reducing the energy cost of many of these mods, helping you give more opportunities to mix and match. Additionally, armor mods that have previously provided benefits to weapons based on their archetype, for example, hand cannon loader, will now instead provide benefits to weapons based on their damage type. So imagine we're going to see like kinetic loader, energy loader, like we had back during Destiny 2's year 1. This levels the playing field for all weapon archetypes and should make it easier to put together a powerful suit of mods and benefit multiple weapons in your loadout sharing a damage type. That's not all. Artifact mods are also being translated to unlockable perks that will no longer need to be socketed, but rather unlocked for the duration of the season once earned and are passively applied to loadouts. So what does that mean? Let's say anti-barrier pulse rifle of the season is pulse rifles. That change means you'll no longer need to equip a mod for this, taking up space and energy. All your pulse rifles, unless they have an intrinsic champion mod, will automatically have anti-barrier equipped. As you can imagine, having every single artifact mod at the same time will be a little OP. Because of that, you won't be able to unlock all of them at the same time and we'll have to, oh, they just changed that, damn it. We'll have to choose 12 perks you have active at any given time. However, we do want to make it easy as possible to change up your builds, so resetting the artifact will not cost anything. Okay, so while we will not have every single mod available to pick at any time again, we will also be able to just reset the mods at any time. So that actually sounds great. What does that mean for Artifice Armor's extra artifact mod slots? Starting in Lightfall, Artifice Armor will have a few new unique mod slots and grant 3 additional points to your character's stat like strength, mobility, intellect, etc. to help you round out your stats as you perfect your builds. Once you've gotten your loadout set and your mods managed, it's time to dive in. We're going to making some gameplay updates to complement the above changes. So, let's see. One thing that players have always had a huge part of setting your builds is match game. It's been pretty much a requirement that you diversify your damage types to end up facing shields that feel hopeless to break. We want to remove this restriction and allow for more freedom with how you create your builds. Ooh. To reach this goal, match game is being removed from high difficulty activities. Adapt munitions is going to be kind of shit now. We're making a few tweaks to how you can do damage to different types of shields. Base shield resistance for non-matching damage types across the game is being adjusted to 50%, similar to Gambit now, and we'll have some other ways for you to do bonus damage to shields that we will tell you before launch. This will help you synergize your perk and abilities around a single damage type rather than diluting them across several different ones. We are the champions. Another thing that has a huge impact on your builds are champions. We want to make sure we want to make how you counter champions more logical. That should also make it easier for you to learn how to deal with them in the first place. So while you still have a selection of anti-champion artifact mods based on current weapon selection, we're also adding anti-champion options to subclasses to complement. So barrier champions, void, solar, and strand counter. While using volatile rounds from your weapon, it'll also pierce the barrier and stun the champion. When a player is radiant, their attacks pierce champion shields, and Strand will also have a method of piercing barrier. So volatile and radiant rounds are now anti-barrier. Awesome. Damaging an overload champion by trigger the jolting condition stuns, so jolt now overloads. Likewise, suppressing a champion stuns overloads, and so does slowing them with stasis. And then on the note of blinding with arc stuns unstoppables, along with encasing them in stasis and shattering them, or triggering a solar ignition, as well as Strand having an intrinsic unstoppable counter. Man, does this sound cool. So now all of our various abilities that we have acquired throughout the 3.0s will now also have anti-champion. That might make the game too easy now. Now, as well, armor mod changes. So, while the combat mod slot is going away, many mods that once belonged to Charge with Light and Elemental Well subfamilies of mods now fall under a revamped system known as Armor Charge and moved into an armor slot-like preference. The Armor Charge mechanics function as follows. Socketing armor mod that uses the Armor Charge system gives you access to the system. The functionality of taking charge, aka picking up a orb of power to gain 1 stack of charge, is now granted to you whenever you have any charge mod equipped. Cool, so easier to acquire. Many mods that previously created elemental wells or gave you stacks of charge with light have been converted to instead create an orb of power. You can now hold between 0 and 3 stacks of armor charge by default, which appears as a buff in the status effects area. By socketing chest armor mods, aka charged up, you increase your maximum number of armor charge stacks as high as 6. Some mods provide a passive ongoing benefit while you have any stacks of armor charge, while you have one of these mods equipped. Every 10 seconds, a stack of armor charge falls off if not consumed by something else. Players can ascend this decay time by socketing the extended charge mod in the class item slot. For example, Font of Wisdom in the head socket will provide a bonus gain to intellect while you have any armor charge active. Some mods can consume 1, 2, 3, or all stacks of armor charge on a particular target, granting you an instantaneous benefit when they do. A few other mods, like Stacks on Stacks in the leg socket, Powerful Friends and Radiant Light in the head socket, Time Dilation in the class item socket, can modify the armor charge system for you without providing you a specific benefit while you have armor charge. Finishers will now consume armor charges that do not dip into super energies anymore. So, cool changes there. Elemental Wells evolving. While many of the mods that previously created or benefit from Elemental Wells are being changed to instead focus on Orbs of Power, some aspects of Elemental Wells aren't going away entirely. Instead of creating Elemental Wells for each subclass, will now a damage-specific spawned objects. So Ionic Traces for Arc, Fire Sprite for Void, Void Breaches for Void, Stasis Shards will continue being used for Stasis, and Strand will have its ability in the future. The ability to spawn these objects will not come from armor mods, but from your subclass instead. For example, the Ember of Tempering Fragment is active for Solar Hunters. It will not create a Fire Sprite when you defeat an enemy with a solar weapon. Picking up any of these objects will grant ability energy or have other effects depending on your subclass build. For example, if you're running a Solar subclass and now have the new Ember of Mercy Fragment equipped, picking up a Fire Sprite will grant you the Restoration effect. The number of these interactions will be limited at launch, but we do intend to add more to the system moving forward. Okay, so Elemental Wells are going to be entirely subclass specific like champions now. That sounds cool. Balancing Act. Well, the main goal here is to streamline the build crafting experience. We also had to do some tuning while we were under the hood to address some of the power spikes certain build combinations created. As we said previously, we look at every single mod, and some were changed, moved to other slots, transitioned to other abilities, or removed. With the removal of armor energy types and the consolidation of mechanics into armor charge, some mods became redundant and were removed. Some ability energy gains, stat bonuses, and weapon damage bonuses from mods have been reduced. Though we've also added some new mods to expand your build possibilities. Not all previous builds are going to be recreated one-to-one, but the system has been changed enough to open up a lot of new possibilities with mods and ability combinations. As an example of mods that aren't coming back along the ride are Warmind Cells. These are a relic of a different time, have already been nerfed into the past. They had a good run, but these mods will be deprecated, no longer available starting next season to make way for new options. So, rest in peace to Warmind Cells. People abused them, it got nerfed to the ground, no one used them anymore, and now they are dead. Now, looking ahead, we've covered a lot, and no, there are a lot of questions with many changes on the horizon. We will have more to say on this, along with a plethora of other exciting changes coming alongside Lightfall's release next month. With a system like this, the best way to fully understand it is get your hands on it and start tinkering. As with everything involved with supporting Destiny 2, their evolution is not an endpoint. We have plans to continue tuning and improving this new system, and we'll be adding new build crafting elements to fill in power gaps we didn't have as a chance to get with this release. Excited to see what you build in the new toolbox and looking forward to seeing all the new builds shared out. So, like they said, it's entirely possible that builds we have made beforehand might not be coming back. Obviously, if you had a Warmind Cell build, guess what? They're officially dead. So, no more Warmind Cells. So, honestly, this might be a little bit rough because essentially this sounds like they might be doing what they can to kind of knock out any builds we have prior. Obviously, they're shifting and redoing some things, but of course, they just said some builds might not come back. So it kind of sounds like a returning raid the way some weapons just plain don't come back. Although I am still excited. I'm enjoying the idea of more options for anti-champion that isn't based on the artifact, as well as generally Elemental Wells being a little more simple, because considering that more, possibly 4 of the 5 mods I had in my inventory were based on creating wells, and then 1 would be based off of, or 1 would be how I benefit from them. So it makes sense to condense them into not so much. So it sounds like all armor is going to be charged with light and focusing around orbs of power, and at the same time, it seems like, although it's weird because now it sounds like we can intrinsically have up to 6 stacks, but it also dies with time. So, I saw there were some things that also extend active time, but it's weird to think that we're going to have mods we could be instantly fully charged and have an unlimited build potential, but just because a activity gets slow or you finish a fight, guess what? There goes all your charges, you're no longer powerful in any way. So, I don't know, that might be the one thing that sounds bad, because Charge with Light, that didn't decay until you used it or died. So that might be the one issue point that I have with all this new things, is the fact that from what it sounded like is that basically, well, here, let me actually double check and read this again. Let's see, champions, charge mods. See, gives you access to the system. The functionality of taking charge is not granted to you whenever you have many mods previously created elemental wells have been converted to instead creating orbs of power. Hold between 0 and 3 stacks, which appear. See, chest mods to increase up to 6. Some mods provide a passive ongoing benefit while you have any stats of armor charge. When you have one of those, okay. I get it. So anything that you get, okay, that makes sense better. So if you have anything that actually uses gives you a buff from being charged, every 10 seconds, one of the charges is used. Okay, so that actually sounds a lot better. It's basically just like, what's the word? High energy fire. The way, and when you had that, it would consume a charge after you kill something. Instead, if we had high energy fire still, it will have a ongoing buff for 10 seconds, consuming a stack, and then if you run out, then you no longer have the buff, but if you have more, then it'll just consume another stack for another 10 seconds. So that actually sounds a lot better than how I read that again. I'm glad I did that. So, aside from that, it actually sounds like this new system is going to be better. Of course, some builds that people have made not coming back, of course, that's a little bit of shot of the knee, but of course, it's revamping the system. Builds couldn't stay the same forever, I guess. With that, my name is Matt Scorpion, I'll see you in the next video.